The skies over ancient Australia weren't peaceful. They were ruled by giants with wings wider than a bus and teeth sharp enough to tear through flesh mid-flight. Dragons may be fantasy, but one creature came close to the legend. It didn't breathe fire, but ruled the air with silent power and deadly grace. Gliding over an inland sea that no longer exists, it hunted from above, a nightmare with wings. For years, scientists thought they understood the limits of prehistoric flight. Then, buried in the rocks of Queensland, a strange fossil emerged, a jaw unlike anything seen before. Long, thin, and crowned with a blade-like crest. That fossil changed everything. It belonged to Thapunngaka shawi, a name that translates to spear mouth, and it just might be the closest real-world version of a dragon we've ever discovered. What was Thapunngaka? Thapunngaka shawi was a type of Pterosaur, a group of flying reptiles that lived at the same time as dinosaurs, but were not dinosaurs themselves. This pterosaur had huge wings that may have stretched up to 7 meters longer than a pickup truck. Its body was small compared to its wings, but its head was massive. The skull alone could have been over 1 meter long. One of the most striking parts of Thapunngaka's body was its lower jaw. It had a large bony crest, shaped like a blade or a sail, sticking up from the jaw. Scientists believe it also had a similar crest on the upper jaw, though it wasn't preserved. These crests may have helped it fly by cutting through the air, or they could have been used to attract mates. We're still not sure. Even though the fossil had no teeth left in it, scientists found the tooth sockets. From there, they believe it had about 40 sharp teeth, perfect for catching and holding slippery prey like fish. Where and how it was found. The story of Thapunngaka's discovery is just as exciting as the creature itself. It wasn't found by a team of scientists or during a big expedition. It was discovered in 2011 by Len Shaw, a local man in Richmond, in northwest Queensland. Len had been looking for fossils for years. Instead of using tiny brushes and tools like most fossil hunters, he used a front-end loader, a big construction vehicle. During his lunch break, he excavated water from a nearby pond and poured it over a patch of ground to wash away the top layer of soil. That's when he spotted a strange shape in the rock. It turned out to be part of a lower jawbone, with rows of tooth sockets and the base of a large crest. It was later sent to Cretaceous Corner, a small museum in Richmond. There, the fossil was carefully cleaned and studied. Despite being just a piece of a jaw, this fossil had enough special features to tell scientists it was something never seen before. The story behind its name. Giving a name to a new species is a big deal in science. For this flying reptile, scientists chose a name that honored its place of discovery and the man who found it. Thapunngaka shawi comes from the Wanamara language, which the First Nations people speak in the Richmond area in Queensland. The word Thapunngaka combines thapun, meaning spear, and ngaka, meaning mouth, so it translates to spear mouth. That name fits perfectly because of the animal's long, pointed jaws full of sharp teeth. The second part of the name, shawi, honors Len Shaw, the local man who discovered the fossil. So the full name means Shaw's spear mouth. It's a name and a story, but it's a tribute to local heritage and a local hero. Why jawbone is so important? You might be wondering. It's just a jawbone, so why does it matter so much? Pterosaur fossils are incredibly rare. Their bones were light and hollow, so they could fly, making them fragile. Most of their bones were destroyed after they died. That's why paleontologists often find only small, broken pieces. But Thapunngaka's fossil was special. It was well preserved, and it had several unique features that made it different from other pterosaurs. These features helped scientists confirm it was a new species. It also added to the small but growing list of pterosaurs found in Australia. Before this, only 3 others had been identified in the country. So, finding a fourth, and the largest one yet, was a huge step for Australian paleontology. Even better, Thapunngaka is now considered to be part of a group called Unhungarids, which are pterosaurs that lived all around the world. But what's interesting is that 3 of the 4 known Australian pterosaurs are part of this group. This might mean that Australia had its own unique branch of these flying reptiles, separate from those in South America or Europe. What Thapunngaka tells us about ancient Australia. The fossil of Thapunngaka was found in a type of rock called the Toolbuck Formation. These rocks were formed around 100 million years ago, during the early Cretaceous period, when Australia looked very different from today. Back then, much of central Australia was covered by a vast inland sea called the Eromanga Sea. This shallow sea was full of fish, marine reptiles, and other creatures. The Thapunngaka lived near this sea and probably hunted fish from the air, using its sharp teeth to grab them right out of the water. It would have soared above this ancient ocean, silent and deadly, looking for its next meal. Its large wings would have helped it glide for long distances with little effort, while its strong beak and teeth helped it grab large prey. So, this fossil doesn't just tell us about one animal. It gives us a window into the world it lived in, a world of giant marine reptiles, warm seas, and flying hunters. How it flew without breaking its bones. One of the most incredible things about Thapunngaka and pterosaurs in general is how they were built for flight. Unlike birds with feathers or bats with skin stretched between fingers, pterosaurs had wings supported by one long finger. It's like using your pinky finger to hold up a whole umbrella. But how could they fly if their bones were so thin? Wouldn't they snap in the air? Well, the secret lies in their amazing bone structure. The bones of Thapunngaka were not just hollow, they were also full of tiny struts inside, like the support beams in a bridge. These struts made the bones strong, but still light. It's a design that helped them stay in the air for long periods without tiring and allowed them to grow huge wingspans without becoming too heavy. Scientists think Thapunngaka's wingspan was around 7 meters, about the same as a small plane or the width of a city bus. Just imagine that flying above your head. Another interesting feature was the bony crest on its jaw. This crest probably wasn't just for show. Some scientists think it helped with flight by acting like a rudder or stabilizer, making the animal more aerodynamic. Others believe it may have helped attract mates, like a peacock's tail or a deer's antlers. Either way, it was large and very noticeable. Why? It captures our imagination. There is something about flying reptiles that just feels magical. Maybe it's their size, maybe it's their wings, or maybe it's because they remind us of dragons. Thapunngaka shawi, with its huge wings and spear-like mouth, is as close as we'll ever get to see a real-life dragon in Australia's ancient skies. But beyond the fantasy, this discovery is important for science. It teaches us about evolution, ancient ecosystems, and how life adapts in amazing ways. It also shows us the value of local discoveries and community involvement. After all, it wasn't a professional paleontologist who found Thapunngaka. It was a man with a front-end loader and a good eye. Every new fossil helps us piece together the puzzle of Earth's history, and Thapunngaka shawi is a big piece, big in size and big in meaning. A unique family of flying giants. Recent scientific studies have proposed placing this ancient predator into a newly named group of pterosaurs called Mythungini. This isn't just a fancy title. It means Thapunngaka shares some rare traits with 2 other flying reptiles found in Australia, Pterosaur lentoni and Mythungini camara. All 3 seem to have lived around the same time, in the same region, and possibly hunted the same kind of prey. This discovery shows they might have formed their own family, a unique branch on the Pterosaur family tree that existed only in Australia. This new clade helps paleontologists better understand how these animals evolved and spread out. It also tells us that a single giant reptile didn't just rule Australia's skies, but a whole squadron of them, each slightly different but closely related. The fact that all members of Mythungini have been found in Queensland adds weight to the idea of an Australian hotspot for these flying giants. Thapunngaka shawi wasn't just a flying reptile, it was a ruler of the skies, a skilled hunter, and a part of Australia's ancient past. From its giant wingspan to its powerful jaws and rare fossil story, it continues to teach us more about a forgotten world. A world of giants, of oceans where deserts are now, and of creatures that could fly like dragons. Science is full of wonders. Sometimes, those wonders are buried under rocks, waiting to be discovered.